All right, before we get out of here on today's show, we have to do our best bets of the weekend. We do them every single week, and we have some improvement here. We're going to be honest and transparent throughout the entirety of the football season from start to finish. We went 4-1 last week. We're 13-15 on the year, so we're just looking to close that distance, get back to 500, and then certainly build from there. I've got 6 plays here this week. I've done 6 in the past. I've done 5 in the past. There's no amount, by the way, that could change every single week. Shoot, one week it could be the best bet of the weekend and just be 1. We could do 10 in one week. It could fluctuate, but I've got 6 here this week. So without further ado, let's get right into them. We previewed LSU and Vandy. I am taking the LSU Tigers plus 2.5 on the road against Vandy. Look, LSU was my national title pick coming into the year. That clearly, they're not playing at that type of level right now. But Baker, the new defensive coordinator, he's been tremendous. You went into the year thinking this LSU offense was going to be a strength and their defense was going to be the weakness. Well, it's the complete inverse. The offense is a weakness and their defense is a complete and utter strength. I just don't know if Vanderbilt's going to score enough on this defense. Look, Diego Pavia is a gamer. He's won big games. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he won. They're coming off a bye, and they're well rested. It's at home. He's going to be fired up. They just, of course, last time they played, they lost to Alabama, so they're going to be raring to go here in this game. But mind you, this is also an LSU team with 1 loss. This is a huge game for Brian Kelly here. And Nuss has been beat up, had the abdomen earlier in the year, an ankle, I believe, kind of now that he's working with. But I think they're going to make enough plays on offense. And to me, it's the LSU defense, man. They are the real deal. And we talk about Ohio State and Oklahoma and Texas, those defenses. LSU is like the next best thing. They're really, really good. And I think they're going to limit Diego Pavia in this game. I think Nuss will make enough plays. I think they're going to win outright, but I will take the plus 2.5 as our first pick here. That is at noon on Saturday. Texas Tech and Arizona State. Texas Tech -7 on the road against Arizona State. Arizona State, obviously, a playoff team last year. No Cam Scatterbo, not on that same level here this year. Levitt missed last week. He's up in the air. We'll see if he plays in this game, and I still made this pick knowing that he could very well be out there, and he could very well not be out there for Arizona State. But Texas Tech, I think, is one of the best teams in the country. What they've done, what their coach has done, what they've done, in NIL and the transfer portal. Usually you don't see a team go to the transfer portal and bring in all these guys and have a tremendous level of success. But it's working immediately here for Texas Tech. They are the real deal. They beat the crud out of Utah, and they beat the crud out of Houston, and I think they're going to do that again to Arizona State here this week. We've kind of just been riding them. Bear Morton, their quarterback, is tremendous. They have a backup in Hammond that they throw in there, and he's good too. They're good along the defensive line. They get after you. They tackle well. They do everything right. And, that's not enough people are talking about Texas Tech. They are in the top 10 from a rankings perspective. I had them, I believe, at 6 this week for me. So Texas Tech -7 at Arizona State is our second play. All right, 4 NFL plays here coming at you, and this one – it sounds crazy to say out loud, but we're going to take the Cleveland Browns -2.5 at home against the Dolphins. All of the public is all over Miami in this game. It's in Cleveland. It's supposed to rain, right? It's going to be an ugly game. That's a really good Cleveland defense. I think they're going to get after Tua. I think he's going to be rushed into making some bad decisions. I don't think Miami's going to score a ton of points in this game. Neither is Cleveland, but I think it's going to be enough to win by a field goal. Dylan Gabriel gets his first win. He showed some good things that first start that you saw him. I believe it was an international game with Gabriel, and then he had Pittsburgh last week, and that's tough for a young quarterback to go in there and deal with that. But I can't believe I'm saying it. Shout out to Cleveland, of course, for sending Joe Flacco down here to Cincinnati. But I do think Cleveland covers -2.5 at home against the Dolphins. This might be my favorite pick of the week. The Chargers -1.5 at home against the Colts. Had the Colts at number 2 in my power rankings. They're a really good team. But this matchup, I think, favors the Chargers in a lot of ways. They had a big win last week to avoid a 3-game skid. I think that's going to instill some newfound confidence in this team. Herbert's going to have some success throwing the football. Ladd McConkey is tremendous. What a pick, by the way, from Jim Harbaugh to select him a couple of years ago. Quentin Johnson, of course, coming into his own. Keenan Allen, reliable third down guy. They're starting to run the ball a little bit better defensively. They're really good. Jesse Minter, by the way, going to be a head coach. Only a matter of time before he is. He's dialing it up nicely. And I think the Colts are a really good team, and I think they're a threat, and I think they're going to win that division. And I think they're probably going to win a playoff game there as well. But it's about time they come back down to earth a little bit here. It's a really good defense. And, again, they've got a good defense too, but I just like Herbert at home in this spot. Colts traveling across the country. They're on a heater right now, and I just think it ends against the Chargers. Give me L.A. -1.5 in that game. Green Bay traveling to Arizona -6.5. I'm really high on Green Bay. Had them at 3 in my power rankings. Have them, playing in the Super Bowl. That was my prediction before. This year, Jordan Love's terrific. Great arm, can move. They've got a run game with Jacobs. He's a little banged up, but he's going to be fine and expected to go. That defense. They struggled at times, obviously, but once, Micah really kind of gets unleashed and, really starts getting after the quarterback, I think they're going to start to, really, create some turnovers defensively, and that's really going to help them. Arizona, they might be without Kyler. They might not be. It doesn't make a difference to me. 6.5. I think Green Bay probably wins this game by 10 plus. Obviously weather not going to be a factor with Arizona, and they can throw the football, they can run the football. It's time for them to, because I know there were some Packer fans that were frustrated with how they performed against Cincinnati, and that that game was maybe closer than it should have been considering the issues that Cincinnati had on offense in the first half. It wasn't, but I think you're really going to see Green Bay. You're going to see this game and be like, oh yeah, that's a really good football team. And Arizona, their coach Gannon, I'd say he's not the guy. He's just not. And I like Green Bay big in that game. And then Monday night, interesting. We're doing the same strategy that we did with the Lions-Chiefs game, right? Where you look at it and you go, how in the world are the Chiefs 2.5-point favorites in this game? And then you take it, and then it's the clearest thing ever as to why they were. You're sitting here going, how in the world is Tampa Bay plus 5.5 here in this spot against Detroit? I think this very well could be a shootout in this game, but Hutchinson might be able to get after Baker a little bit. More than what Baker's had to deal with in games past here at this point. I'm going to lay the 5.5 with Detroit. And look, they've got issues there in their secondary. This very well could turn into a shootout, but I think Jared Goff, that Lions offense, prime time, that place gets loud. They can run the football. They can throw the football. They're dialing it up nicely, and Campbell will have them obviously ready to go for that football game. And I think that's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, well, that doesn't make sense, so let's take it. And then we're using that strategy again here this week with the Detroit Lions. So once again, 6 plays here on our show. LSU plus 2.5 at Vandy, Texas Tech -7 at Arizona State, Cleveland -2.5 at home against the Miami Dolphins, Chargers -1.5 at home against the Colts, Packers -6.5 on the road against the Cardinals, and the Lions -5.5 at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday night. 4-1 last week, looking to build off that here this week.